right, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee. Our next guest is a world-renowned expert in science and technology and joins us today to share how he is using his skills to make America stronger. And we welcome Professor Wilbert Quincy Murdoch to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Lee.
I see we have
Pleasure.
something very interesting on this table. We just had a make-the-grade golf outing, and everybody had their own personal clubs from different brands and everything.
Sure.
And we all had a great time. What do we have here?
Well, right here we have a computerized golf club. It's decades in the making in terms of the technology, but not only will it improve your golf game at your home, but you can play against an opponent anywhere in the world.
Get out of here, really?
Absolutely. So we're using the cloud as the medium of communication.
Oh, wonderful.
And since you're a communications expert, you can understand how two people come together and form a nice network.
So you can play all over the world without moving in the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a revolution. This is something that's really, really important, and it's going to create hundreds of jobs in New York City, and unlike any other technology. In fact, we're not just talking about technology, we're talking about the creation of a new industry.
That's fantastic. Before we get deeper into this, what we have on the table, the club, give us a little bit of the background on your science and technology background.
Sure. I've been involved in science and technology for the last 40 plus years. I was fortunate enough to start out as a kid, 16 years old, actually 13, but I was able
Right here in New York?
Right here in New York City. I was able to go to college at 16 years old. And, you know, college was like my school. It was like, you know, the place that I can learn and play at the same time.
Yeah.
And I've always been a sports enthusiast, athlete, and still am to a certain degree. You know, you get older with time, you know. But I wanted to converge medicine and science and engineering together and create new innovations. But I've always had a big heart towards the community. And I wanted to educate the community. And as such, you know, I wanted to not only create world-class technologies and make it here in New York City if possible, but I also wanted to give back to the community by educating them in science and technology. So hence the launching of a new show on BronxNet called Science and Technology Made Easy.
Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Let him hear you, let him feel you. Yes, that's fantastic. And you've been doing this for a little while. What borough did you start in?
I was actually born in Manhattan, Lower East Side. Grew up in the Baruch houses. You know, my mom and dad, Kareem and Rosa, you know, they raised 3 sons to be scientists and engineers. And, you know, I migrated to the Upper West Side, and then I ended up in the Bronx, and I stayed here because my parents were getting older, and they were, you know, they were developing certain illnesses, and I just wanted to be there for them because they were, you know, the best parents in the world, like many people will say.
You being in science and technology and medicine, you probably figure out how to create some things that will create some longevity in our lives.
Absolutely. And, you know, my younger brother is a neuroscientist, so together, you know, we, you know, kind of push our parents towards a stable health path. And, you know, I'm just excited that, you know, in today's world, we have so many young people that want to be scientists and engineers and mathematicians, but they need some guidance. And the show that I'm about to launch is going to be for them so that I can mentor them. But we can't forget our seniors, because our seniors, you know, they moved away. They've moved away from technology, and many don't know how to embrace it. So now we have to kind of bring them into the picture too, because they're so important.
Yeah, you see seniors picking up iPads now,
Absolutely,
here and there, and using those iPhones or smartphones.
Absolutely,
they're starting to get into it.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Back in the day, oh no, they pull out an old-fashioned flip phone and they just want to talk on. That's it. I don't want to text or anything else. But tell us how science and technology is so important in our society today.
Well, if you look around us in the world at large, everything is a science, from our human bodies to the table that we're sitting at to the clothing that we wear. So we have to learn about the phenomena around us and understand it. And that's where technology comes in at. Technology is the actual implementation of something that you can touch and feel and experience through the science. So science and technology is like husband and wife. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. Like a hand in glove.
A hand in glove, absolutely.
Beautiful. So how do you engage people of all ages? Because you see a lot of young people. I see 2-year-olds walking around with iPads.
Absolutely, absolutely. it says a lot about our society and our great country that we see so much technology, but the caveat is that certain segments of society, particular people of color, we're behind the curve in terms of being where the technology is actually happening and experiencing it. So my job as a host of this show is to say, okay, you are not only important, but in order for America to stay strong, we got to get Hispanics and African American students on the ball in terms of saying, well, you are the most important part of the science and technology equation, because without you getting involved on a high level, our country will be second rate, and we all as Americans love to be winners. So we want to always maintain that top tier in the technology world.
And you know, Obama and his administration, everybody, they support science and math, and I think you're right in line with that. And I think there's a lot of grants out there for that.
Absolutely.
Also. So we need people to get more involved. How do we get communities more involved in science and technology?
Well, we have to use the community resources, whether they are the churches, the synagogues, the mosques, community centers, the senior centers. Those are going to be like our ground zero points of contact, where different types of technologies can be taught. As soon as you say technology, the first thing that people think about is computers. No. That's a small microcosm
You're right.
of
You're absolutely right.
technology. So you have to get to know the technology from A to B to C, so that you're very well rounded, so that if somebody talks about a microprocessor, you'll know what you're talking about. You'll know how it interacts with other devices. If you're talking about sensors, you'll know what they do and how they work, so forth and so on.
Nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology. I have one of my partners, he's studying for his PhD in nanotechnology, Professor Williams. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. Everything excites me. The science excites me. The technologies excite me. And I'm like, I see so many kids excited. Now they need to have some real expert guidance, and I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? We see the technology. People think it's just computers and all that. Where do we go maybe from five years from now? How does it look?
And that's the beauty of traveling. When I went over to Taiwan, my host took me into a room, and in the room there was a small flat screen monitor. It was actually several. And he showed it to me, and I was more interested in making my technology through him at that time, but he was showing me the future. So in traveling the world, each country is an expert in a particular niche technology. We all wonder why the Germans won the World Cup. They are experts in technology.
Ooh.
You know,
so technology played a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of them winning the World Cup.
Absolutely. And we don't really look at that, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth, because think of it. You got a lot of physical players.
Yeah.
Very smart, very well read in soccer, but look who rose to the top. Even the Americans went further than we all believe they could, and believe it or not, I suspect technology played a part. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we got a few more minutes. We have this wonderful thing. Let's get back to this this club here that you have. This is a putter, right?
Yes, this is a computerized putter prototype. You see the wire, but the actual version is going to be wireless. But the beautiful part about this technology is you see other people sticking what they call accelerometers or sensors into an object like this. But we have a force sensing resistor which actually gives you more information. So not only can you see where the club is turning when you're swinging it, but you can see the impact, whether it's a soft impact, hard impact, which actually trains your brain to play better automatically. And that's the beauty of our science, is that we wanted to not only create a new technology, but a science and technology that's totally new. And that's what I want our young kids to concentrate on, being tomorrow's great scientists and engineers, and not just replicating what already exists in the marketplace, but creating new fields and new industries. This is something that will make our country stronger, and we all want to be able to participate in this high-tech revolution. It's our basic bread.
All right, how do you plan to use this technology to bring the jobs to urban areas?
Well, in August, we're planning on launching a social media campaign to raise money through donations. And if we are able to raise enough money, this technology could be made right here in New York City. And the caveat is that other states have offered us X amount of dollars to relocate there. But I'm born and raised in New York City.
You want to do it here in the Bronx,
yeah,
right?
let's do it right here in the Bronx.
Yeah,
Why not?
right here in New York City.
A lot of smart people, a lot of educated people. We take the youth by their hand and show them how to do it.
Did you reach out to the borough president, Ruben Diaz Jr.?
Yes, I did. I'm still waiting to get some feedback from him and other politicians. But, you know, we still want to move forward. And I think that this is an exciting time for us because this is like decades in the making.
Beautiful. You're doing a wonderful thing. Where can we get more information on what you're doing?
I can be contacted through Twitter at Professor Q2, and that's at Professor Q2, or my email address is profwilbertqmurdoch@gmail.
Beautiful. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Professor Wilbert Quincy Murdoch, world-renowned expert in science and technology, here with us today. You're going to come back and share more, right?
Absolutely.
And make sure you make me one of those prototypes so I can get out there and better my game.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but coming up, we'll find out about an exciting new Bronx business. Stay right there.